Yo, what's good, guys? It's Austin here, or Luna. So today's story time is definitely a pretty interesting one, pretty good one. I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. If you do, leave a like on the video, and let's just jump into it, because this is a crazy one. So today's story time all starts off as a regular day in 2016. I had just gotten back from vacation. I was on a trip with some friends to New York City, and yeah, I had just gotten home, and I was basically just sitting in my basement, making YouTube vids, playing Counter-Strike, just doing what I normally do to this day pretty much, except with different games now. And yeah, I was sitting there working on a video, just chilling, kind of unwinding from my New York City trip. This was literally like just after I'd gotten back. And I get a phone call from my friend Spencer. Okay, now Spencer's a good friend of mine, someone I've been friends with since I was 10 years old. He grew up in my neighborhood, still friends with him to this day. But Spencer was one of those people that had like a borderline obsession with psychedelics. And when I say that, I don't mean like, oh, he just liked to watch videos about them or, did them semi-frequently. This dude was, no joke, on shrooms probably like 5 times a week. And not like microdosing. I'm talking like a big dose. Like this man was eating handfuls of this shit and then going out and working a normal job. How he did it, I don't know. His brain needs to be studied. But he did. And anyway, Spencer called me up on this day. I answer. I'm like, hello. He's like, Luna, how the fuck was NYC, dude? And I was like, great, dude. How has our hometown been? He's like, pretty fucking boring without you here. I'm like, you flatter me. What are you up to, dude? He's like, nothing, dude. I'm just bored. I got nothing going on tonight. You want to kick it? And I was like, always, dude, always. So like 2 hours later, Spencer came to my house. He was going to stay the night there. And we were just kicking it in my basement, listening to some music. He was smoking a little bit. At this point, I wasn't smoking weed, so I was just chilling there, kind of just talking to him. And then he looks at me, and he's like, yo, when's the last time you did shrooms? I was like, quite a while ago. I don't know how long it's been, but it's been a long time. He's like, are you down to like maybe try them again? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know if I'm ready. He's like, hey, man, you got to be ready for it. So I completely understand. I'm just asking because like, I have some with me, and is it okay if I do them? And I was like, classic Spencer. I'm like, dude, go for it. I'd be happy to trip sit you. So he reaches in his coat pocket, he pulls them out. He then looks up at me, and he's like, yo, you got any paper plates? And I was like, sure. So I go upstairs, I grab one, come back, give it to him. He starts putting the shrooms out on the plate, kind of like eyeballing how many he wants to eat. And while he's doing this, I don't know what had came over me. I don't know what I was like feeling, but for some reason, I just had the urge to do it. I was like, you know what? I just got back from New York. I'm in a good mood. Like the YouTube stuff's going well. I'm in a good headspace. Maybe I am ready. So I told him that. I was like, you know what, dude? I'm ready. He's like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah. He goes, hell yeah, man. So he gives me a small dose. I couldn't tell you how much it was because we didn't weigh it, but it was a small dose. It was not as much as I would normally eat. And I ate them with no problem. They actually weren't too bad, I've eaten a lot of shrooms that are disgusting. They taste like fucking tire and trash. But these ones were not half bad. Still not good, but not bad either. And I ate them and got them down with no problem. And I look at Spencer and he looks at me. And I was like, well, guess I'm in it now. He's like, yeah, dude, let's have fun. So fast forward an hour later. At this point, it's definitely starting to kick in a little bit. I'm feeling good. I'm not even really seeing any visuals. I'm just kind of feeling like overall good, like, a little bit warm and fuzzy and just kind of like high, I guess. I don't really know how else to describe it, but it wasn't too bad. It was actually pretty good. Now, Spencer, on the other hand, he was seeing some stuff. I remember I asked him at one point, I was like, yo, you having visuals? And he goes, oh, I'm having a lot of visuals. And I just started laughing, and so did he. And after like 20 more minutes, I was like, you know what? Let's get the fuck out of this basement, dude. It's boring down here. And he's like, yeah, let's go on a walk or something. I was like, for sure. So we leave my house and we walk down to this park that's pretty well lit at night. And we're just walking around this park, having a nice conversation, just like enjoying the night. It was a nice night out. I remember at this point, I was starting to have a little bit of some visuals. It wasn't anything like unbearable, like I was losing control. I was just seeing some like slight, like colorful patterns in a way. And if I looked at something like a street light or like, for example, this playground we passed by that was lit up, I looked at it and it looked like it was just ever so slightly moving a tiny bit. For example, like there was these red poles at the playground that kind of held in the actual playground itself. And the red pole kind of looked like it was almost like, I don't want to say jiggling, but kind of waving side to side a bit. It was very, very like subtle, but enough to be like, okay, I'm seeing a little bit of some stuff. Anyway, all right, fast forward, okay? About 30 minutes later, at this point, we're just sitting on one of the park benches, still talking. I'm still having an actual great time. Like, things aren't going bad. He's having a good time. It's actually going great. And I was really surprised because, honestly, I thought that I was going to have a bad trip, but I wasn't. Things were going amazing. And I remember after sitting on that bench for like 5 more minutes, Spencer looked over at me, and he's like, so, how's your first time back? And I was like, pretty good. Like, actually really good. And he's like, man, you don't know how happy that makes me. And I was like, yeah, man, me too. And I was like, honestly, like, I think this is going to be one of the best ones I've ever had. And he goes, hell yeah, dude. And after this, we sit there for about 20 more minutes just talking. And then out of nowhere, completely unexpected, I see a car pull in to the parking lot of the park that we were at. And then it proceeds to start driving on the grass up to the bench we were at. So, like, not only did this guy pull in and start driving on the grass, he drove up to us on the grass. And I couldn't even see the car because their bright lights were on, so I couldn't really make out what kind of car it was, who it was, like, whatever. But it was coming towards us, and I had a feeling of what it was. I looked over at Spencer, and I was like, yo, I think that's a cop car. He's like, nah, you don't know that. Just wait. And I was like, dude, they're coming right for us. Like, it's either a cop car or somebody that doesn't like us is about to drive right up to us and cause a problem. And right after I get done saying that, the car gets close enough to where we can see it. And sure enough, the sirens flick on and it's a cop car. And immediately my trip went from amazing to one of the worst ever because I just felt doomed. And the cop gets out of the car, and I've actually met this cop before. He was at my house when I got swatted a few months prior, so I knew him. And he comes up to us, and he goes, how you boys doing? And I was like, good. And he points at me, and he goes, hey, YouTube guy. And I was like, yep, that's me. And he's like, I remember you. And he's like, how you been? Anything else happen? Like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm good. He's like, all right, cool. Well, listen, I was just coming here to tell you guys the park's closed. You can't be here after hours. I don't know what you're doing here, but whatever you're doing, you gotta go do it somewhere else. And me and Spencer are like, oh, yeah, okay, like, no problem, sir. And we get up and we start to leave. And we think that's going to be it, right? We're like, okay, like, good. And he goes, wait, what were you guys doing here? And we both look at each other, me and Spencer, because we're wondering, like, who's going to talk first? Like, who's going to say something? So I take over. And I was like, we were just hanging out. We were at my basement for a little bit. We were bored. We wanted to go for a walk, enjoy the night. So we came here, which technically was true. Like, we weren't doing anything illegal at the park. We were just on shrooms at the park. And he goes, okay, I understand. I'm surprised you wanted to leave the basement. You got like 100 gadgets down there. You got like all those computers and stuff. And he was making my room sound like it was a fucking fortress or something full of technology, but it was literally just my gaming PC and like 2 monitors. But I was like, yeah, I don't know. We got bored of playing video games. Like, we just want to come out and enjoy the weather. And the cop's like, hey, I got no problem with that. Always a good day when the kids want to go out and get some fresh air. And I was like, yeah, for sure. He's like, anyway, guys, have a great night. So we start to walk away. We think it's over again. And he goes, wait, one more thing. And I was like, yeah. He goes, what's your YouTube name, by the way? I forgot to get it from you when I was at your house a few months ago. And I was like, oh, okay. And now I'm just sitting there inside like, oh, man, like, this is weird. This guy's about to go on my YouTube and watch my videos. But you know what? It could have been a lot worse. So I was like, you know what? Fine, I'll give it to him. So I was like, yeah, it's youtube.com/Luna. He's like, Luna, like Luna. I was like, yeah. He goes, cool. All right. Have a great one, guys. And me and my friend Spencer, we turn around and we leave. And as soon as we got far enough away, Spencer looks at me and he's like, yo, that was not on my bucket list for tonight. And I was like, you're telling me, dude. He's like, bro, you handled that so well. I couldn't even talk. And I was like, dude, it's all good, man. It's what I'm here for. But it kind of fucked my trip up. I can't lie. He's like, yeah, bro, you're telling me. Talk about a fucking vibe kill. And I was like, yeah, but you know what? Whatever. And we went back to my house after this. We sat down and Spencer goes, are you going to tell that story about what just happened? I was like, not now. He knows about my channel. I got to wait a little bit. So here I am all these years later talking about it because I waited. He could very well still be watching. And if he is, hi, officer. Thank you for being nice to us. But anyway, yeah, I just thought this was crazy. I got to talk to the cops while I was in the middle of a trip, which was pretty wild. Shout out to that cop for being cool. He definitely could have been a lot worse. He was very chill. And yeah. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much the end of the story time. The rest of that night was relatively chill and just, good. And we enjoyed the rest of the night and things were good. So yeah, that's pretty much where it ended. But yeah, that's the story of how I talked to a cop while I was tripping. And he also knew who I was on YouTube, which just added a whole bunch of funniness to the story, in my opinion. So I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys all later. Peace.
I be fully loaded, I be whipping foreign cars. Always stay devoted, mama knew I'd be a star. Now I'm steady flowing, feeling like I'm high as Mars. I'ma keep on going, I'ma